Chapter 8. New Revelations. A new year and I'm married, I thought. The trip had been phenomenal, but now we were back in the real world. The snow in Connecticut has melted from the streets, leaving only the chill and a white, dusty residue from the salted roads. Luca is excited to see us. Bobby has left a note listing what he'd done while we were gone. Hey guys, congratulations on your marriage. Kenna and I watched the webcast. McKenna, you were stunning. I fed Luca earlier today. If you're reading this letter now, it means you're just getting home, so it's about time to feed him again. I'll see you guys later. P.S. Luke, my dad said he needs to talk to you. I don't know what about, but you might want to stop by and see what he wants. I know Goodwin will be at Aurelius tomorrow, so I'll probably see him there. Hey Luke, want to come with me to take Luca for a walk? McKenna asks. Yeah, I do. I grab my coat and join her. We weren't outside too long, it's so cold, and we were both tired. When we get back, we immediately go to sleep. The next day, I stop by Shields' office after I've finished training for the day. The door is closed, so I knock. There is no reply. I tried twisting the knob, but the door is locked. It seems Shields is missing in action again. Usually I wouldn't be concerned, but he has been so uncommonly secretive. Goodwin spots me and wastes no time speaking to me. We need to talk, he says. Follow me. I follow Goodwin to a part of Aurelius I hadn't seen before. A large old room, like a library, the shelves of books everywhere, maps and artifacts. Is this his office? Where are we? I ask. It's called the study. It's where the historians work. Every sect has one. These books are the records recording every fighter's legends and historical facts ever known to history. I use them to follow bloodlines and discover new bloodborns. There are collections from floor to ceiling, and some so antiquated they are encased in glass cases to protect them from atmospheric damage. Goodwin has not brought me here for the view, though. What's going on? I ask. Quite a display you put up against Erno, cutting off both his hands and then walking out of the arena. I wanted to send Crassus a message. Well, you did that. The head of Ares' worshipper was livid with Lazarus, blamed him for the whole thing, and told him they were henceforth his adversaries. I'm happy with that. If Lazarus wants me dead, he's going to have to try harder. For the third Proelium, you'll be up against Ken Musashi, Goodwin says. Is there a problem with that? Ken, like you, is an echo, his origin the most recognized samurai warrior of them all, Miyoda Musashi. As I'm sure you know, samurai were chivalrous and honorable as a way of life, but they were fierce fighters in battle, known for their impeccable swordsmanship, and there was no one greater than Musashi. Did Lazarus hire him as well? No. Ken is from the sect Khan. Like us, they do not affiliate themselves with Crassus. I want to know more about this man. The samurai were no people to take with a grain of salt, and if he is an echo as well, I'll need a strategy to beat him. Part of that will be learning as much as possible to adapt if the fight starts going south. Tell me about him. Ken has been fighting in Legacy for 3 years now and has never lost. He fights like a demon. He's been up against every top dog in Legacy but Owen, and he's won every time. Why not Owen? 3 years and he's never met him in the arena? It's my understanding that Owen is the guy to beat. Ken and Owen were drawn to face each other twice, but Owen was switched out at the last minute on both occasions. For whatever reason, the assembly decided that they will not fight each other. So either someone is under the impression that Owen would win, or are afraid of Ken defeating him. Whatever, I need to focus on my fight. Musashi founded an entire school of swordsmanship known as Niten Ryu. He literally wrote the book on tactics, strategy, and philosophy. The Book of 5 Rings is still in use today. Musashi is the Kensei, a legend more or less in English. What weapons does he use? Ken fights only with a katana, the single-edged samurai sword and the sharpest weapon known to Legacy. The edge rivals that of a scalpel. People describe the edge of the blade as a cool sensation when it cleanly opens their skin. They only feel a cold touch as the blade passes. No one even knows they've been cut until they see the blood. The katana was of course used by Miyoda Musashi. As legend has it, the Ani demons, trolls, Orgus, in Japanese culture cursed the sword. They are invincible by nature, just as the blade is. Overall, the sword is 44 inches long, the blade 29, which means if you're not careful, Ken can and will strike you from a distance. You most likely won't even notice it until you realize you no longer have use of your limb. Goodwin shuffles some papers on his desk before looking at me again, his gaze transparent and open. I trust you will prepare. Ken is undefeated, but he is not undefeatable. He has weaknesses that you can use to your advantage. One avenue I think you should explore is fighting him hand to hand. Since he has been in Legacy, he has never fought without his sword. Not that he needed to. If you can get the sword out of his hands, you'll shift the odds in your favor. That is good to know. My sword skills wouldn't be able, it sounded to me, to match Ken's. I might struggle if I have to fight with weapons the whole time. But how will I get him to drop his sword and fight me unarmed? Who do I speak to about making a sizable bet on the fight? I ask. You don't want to get mixed up with the people taking bets in Legacy. They're worse than the Kimura, but call themselves influential members of the community. I know some people making exclusive high account wagers though, and who are reliable. If you want, I can place your bet with them. Lord knows you don't need to make any more enemies. I'll find out what the odds are and let you know. Thank you. Don't worry about it. I've kept an eye on you for so long I feel like you're my own kid. Oh, and while you're here, you should check out this book. He hands me a leather-bound antiquarian volume. Read it. You'll find out everything you could ever want to know about Spartacus. I don't trust people easily, but Goodwin is different. Another father figure to me. I love my father and mother, but it's tough being so far away from my parents. I'm glad to know that Goodwin is around. Once I finish up with Goodwin, I leave Aurelius and go back home. When I walk in, I see McKenna has left a note that she's taking Luca for a walk. I'm glad to see she's enjoying the puppy. I bought him to keep her company and feel like she has someone when I'm not around. While I have time to kill, I decide I'll sit at the table and open Goodwin's book. There's so much about Spartacus in it I didn't know. Taking in the information makes me curious about something else. I leave the text on the table, open the laptop, and Google doppelgangers, a term sometimes used alternatively with echoes. All my searches come back with similar results. Doppelgangers in folklore are paranormal doubles of a person, usually involved with malevolent forces. They signal danger, or, if seen by their original, death. I don't know what the connection is. I know I'm not evil, so what did that say about me? I keep searching different forms of the word until one link catches my eye. The heading is The Human Double. I click on the link and start to read the page. The article speaks of the doppelganger as a re-embodiment, a deceased progenitor's current form, not evil, but reincarnations. It is common for the doppelganger to share physical characteristics and personality traits, and, under certain circumstances that generate vivid memories, the doppelganger would be an identical reoccurrence. I looked to see if there is any information on how to enhance this connection, but found none. All I know is that training in the arsenal caused me to have the memories. If I had to be the reincarnation of anyone, though, I'm glad it's Spartacus. McKenna comes through the door just as I am shutting the laptop. Luca runs to me and jumps in my lap. I can hear McKenna breathing heavily from where I'm sitting. Hey, stud, been home long? She asks. About an hour or so. Oh, okay. You must have come in just after I stepped out. We had fun outside, didn't we, Luca? She asks, baby talking the puppy. I'm going to take a shower, she added. I'm sweaty. A week later, I receive a call from Goodwin. He tells me he has contacted the party about the wager and wants to talk to me in person. I leave the apartment and go meet with Goodwin. When I arrive at the house, he's in the study with his head deep in work, as usual. Reading anything good? I ask. Research. How are you? Well, I read the book. Learned a lot about my origin. That's good. It'll help you connect. About the bet. I spoke with my contacts and they're willing to allow it. What are the odds? You're a 4-1 underdog. With Ken's record and that katana, people are doubtful you'll win this time. There's a 50,000 minimum. Remember, I followed your progress before Legacy, so I know you can cover that. How much are you looking to put down? 250. I wasn't expecting that much. You have something special planned? No, 250 is a nice round number. Besides, I'm married now. I have to make sure McKenna is taken care of in case anything were to ever happen to me. So you're worried? No, I just want to build up my bank balance, and I don't lose. Fair enough. Who's holding the bet? I ask. Goodwin grins. I'd love to tell you, but I can't. Just win, and you'll quadruple your stake. I can't thank you enough. How does 10% sound? Keep your money. I told you, you're like one of my own. Anyway, I'm heading out of here. I'll walk out with you. I walk Goodwin to his car. Just as we get to it, Lazarus Caius Crassus appears. The very sight of him enrages me to a point where I want to remove his head from his excessively cologned body. Goodwin could tell and whispers to me, Whoa, calm down, killer. Let me handle this. Lazarus, he calls out. Thomas, what a pleasant surprise. I wanted to speak with Shieldsy. Is he in? No, not at the moment. Can I be of any help? The third Proalium is coming up, as you know. Higher powers have just informed me that there will be a substitution. Goodwin seems instantly apprehensive. Substitution? For whom? It seems Nico will no longer fight off against the Confighter. The Assembly would like to see the Battle of Troy played out again. Owen will be fighting in the undercard against Nico just before the Battle of the Echoes plays out. The Assembly probably feels that Legacy could profit greatly before the final Paralium if all 3 active Echoes battle on the same night. Think of all the money that will be changing hands. What did you do? Goodwin demands. Thomas, I'm hurt. You know me better than that. Do you think I'm capable of arranging such a change? Yes. Well, Lazarus chuckles, so I am. That much is true, but this time I had nothing to do with it. I met with the Assembly when they heard that Nico's opponent had suffered a terrible training accident. His opponent is said to be unfit to fight. They proceeded to ask if my men are ready. Of course, I said yes, and I mentioned how much they would stand to profit if Owen and Nico met each other in the arena. Achilles versus Hector again? A chance to rewrite history. Goodwin, distressed by the information, can't even look Lazarus in the eye. He combs his fingers through his hair. You are not going to get away with this, Goodwin says. Thomas, think of all the revenue. The Battle of Troy will prove to be one of the greatest events in Legacy history. I'm sure Luke is itching to see this fight. Aren't you, son? Lazarus asks me. Never call me that, I snap. I am not your son. I know, boy. It's just a figure of speech. By the way, I saw your last fight. Simply delightful. I loved watching you cut off his hands. Full of surprises, aren't you? That's funny, Lazarus. I heard you paid Erno to kill me. How did that one turn out for you? He snickers. Kill you? Heavens no. That was a misunderstanding. I simply placed a bet in favor of Erno to win. Say, I hear you got married. Congratulations. I'm sure your wife is a fine piece of work. Hold your tongue or lose it. If I were you, I would keep her close to my side. Who knows? Someone might just sneak up and gain a position next to her. From what I hear, at least from Owen, she's easily swayed. What was he trying to imply? This information isn't something I care to find out from him. I'm about to kill him when Goodwin blocks my path. If he wasn't standing between us right now, I growl, I'd cut your heart out and feed it to my dog. Very good, Lazarus exclaims. Why, with such passion, maybe we should speak about you fighting for me. That way I wouldn't need to kill you. I can make it worth your while. How about it? Go to hell. Hell? Please. I've sent Orcus so much business he owes me a favor. Lazarus, said Goodwin, you are not welcome here. You'd best leave before he decides that my barrier isn't going to stop him anymore. Lazarus shrugs blithely. Fine, fine. But where's Nico? Since Shields isn't here, I would like to deliver the message myself. I'd love to see his face when he finds out he gets a chance to honor the great Hector. I couldn't take it anymore. I moved Goodwin out the way and wrapped my hands around Lazarus's throat tighter than the clutches of a lion's jaw. Lazarus struggles to free himself. Luke, not here, not here, Goodwin barks, prying my hand loose. Strong grip, Lazarus murmurs. I'll be sure to remember that. Tell Nico to be ready. Come the third Paralium, he will meet his end. Lazarus collects himself and saunters off. Before he is out of sight, Lazarus pauses in step, turns around, and adds, Congratulations once again on your marriage. I feel like he is hinting at something. I wish I were fighting Owen in Nico's place. I'm sure he can beat Owen. But Owen is the fight I've been hunting. I have to keep calm. My fight is just around the corner, and I need to focus my energy on Ken. I know McKenna wouldn't lie to me, but the way Lazarus mentioned that thing with Owen, I'm going to have to talk to her about it. A week passes, and Shields is still missing. Goodwin is starting to grow concerned. He told me it was unlike Shields to be gone so long. The last time anyone had seen him was the night of the second Paralium. We are a week away from the third, and he is still nowhere to be found. Goodwin was forced to tell Nico about the change in the bout. He'd hoped Shields would be the one to do so. Nico deserved to know, and seemed to have taken the news pretty hard. He, too, had not been around Aurelius of late. I want to talk to him about the fight if I can. Walking down the halls of Aurelius when I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. Shields' office door was cracked open. Was he there? I push the door open and peer in. There is no one in the office, but the entrance to the arsenal is ajar. I head down to the main room and see Shields standing inside. You're alive, I shout. Of course I'm alive. You think it's that easy to kill me? Where have you been? No one's seen you since the last Paralium. Mr. Goodwin was starting to get worried. I was away on business. No big deal. I'm back now. Shields is asking me if he's been away for a day or so. I got the feeling he's hiding something. Did you hear Owen's going to fight Nico in the Paralium? Lazarus arranged the entire thing. Nico doesn't want to fight Owen. Nico knows he's good, but he can't beat Owen. Hector knew he wouldn't be able to defeat Achilles either. No matter who you are, your past can always haunt you. There are only 2 people in Legacy who can defeat Owen. He is referring to Ken and me, the only 2 other Echoes in Legacy, which is why Owen has never fought Ken. Lazarus didn't want to take the chance of Owen losing. He wants to protect his investment. If you haven't seen Nico, Shield says, it's most likely because he's home praying to Apollo to protect him in battle and saying goodbye. He probably never told you this because he's a very private individual, but Nico has a wife and son. Owen's going to kill him if he gets the chance. It's in his blood. I didn't even want to think about that. Nico is a great friend. I don't know how I would react if he dies. There has to be something we can do. Let me take his place. Unfortunately, Lazarus was able to strike a deal. Besides, it doesn't work like that. The Assembly doesn't change its mind on matches unless doing so will improve the Proelium. They are not going to give up reliving one of the greatest wars in history, plus a battle between echoes so that you can fight Owen? Anyhow, the fight hasn't taken place yet. We don't know for sure if Nico will lose. History doesn't always have to repeat itself. That's why we teach it in classrooms, so that people have the opportunity to not fall into the same patterns and habits of those before them. We can be better than before, and not hindered by the past. Live for the future. Nico is of Hector's blood, but he is his own person. Only he is the master of his fate. I will kill Lazarus, I swear. Don't worry about him. Lazarus is going to get what he has coming to him. Shield sounds pretty confident in that statement. I know Shield won't hesitate to send Lazarus to the afterlife, considering what he's done to him. The whole time we have been talking, Shield has been collecting weapons. So what is he doing with all that stuff? It's like he's arming himself for war. Is that an actual extension knife? I ask about a weapon I noticed sitting on the table. Yes, it was a gift from an old friend. I have never seen one in real life, only in movies and video games. Assassins would conceal them in their sleeves and deliver a deadly blow to their targets without them seeing it coming. Shield looks at me hard. Are you ready to face Ken? Of course. Ken won't expect me to fight him with my weapons, which should give me the advantage. If I feel like I'm losing control of the fight though, I'll have to disarm him and fight him to my strength. Do not fight Ken forcefully. Let him advance on you and then react. You must be able to get close to him to defeat him. Fight from a distance, and you're no match for his katana. With a sword just about 4 feet long, there's no way I can fight him from a distance. The closer I am to him, the harder it would be for him to use that blade on me. That's easier said than done. Friday comes quickly, and in no time, we are on the eve of the Proelium. After training for the day, I go to the locker room to change and finally see Nico. It is a relief for me. Nico has been gone since the news broke to him about the Proelium. I can't describe the expression on Nico's face. It's as if someone has taken the light from the world, and he is living in the darkness. He is standing at his locker, looking at pictures. Nico, I say, trying to see if he will acknowledge me. You know, when I first fought in Legacy, I almost pissed my pants thinking about the possibility of death. Then, when I won, and continued to win, I didn't get the sensation you would expect. Aurelius became my family, and I was honored to represent them as a member as the Bloodborn of Hector. Now, I have that terrible feeling again about death. I almost forgot what it felt like. Owen is not Achilles. He's not a god. You can best him in the arena. I can best him in the arena? I'm no fool. I'm a good fighter, but that's where my abilities end. This fight is nothing more than a tribute to the Assembly to see if Hector could have indeed best Achilles, and I'm no better than Hector was. The gods have shown favor to Owen. He is special, whether I want to admit it or not, and I am just a man. What about your family? I ask, trying to light a fire in him. Shields told you, didn't he? I took this week to spend as much time with my wife and son as possible. She needs to be prepared if I don't come back. I have prayed to Apollo to protect me in battle, and if he sees fit, he will answer my prayers. I have been blessed to find love and success thus far in my life. Now I have the opportunity to rewrite history. There are many things I would lay my life down for, and the honor of Aurelius is one of them.